Hello everybody, Simulation 4 Nation here, hope you're doing very well. Today's video is going to be another great how-to to make your crops when you're drilling look even more realistic in Farming Simulator 22. We're going to be using our trusty Massey 8S, the brand new Lemken Solitaire drill by Creative Mesh, and finally, Proseed by Wobster. Let's go. So folks, welcome along. What we're going to be looking into today is exactly how you can use Proseed to make your crops and your drilled fields look fantastic, especially when they're nearly ready to harvest. You have a luscious golden crop there with a high yielding crop and tram lines to boot. For newbies to FS22 and for those of you who haven't used Proseed in a long time, it can be a little bit tricky to get it going, but eventually what you're going to end up with is something that looks a little bit like this, which are tram lines to your fields here, and you can set those and configure those to the width of your drills. There are preset configurations. We'll get onto that in a minute. Before we go any further though, there was a new drill that was released on Friday as well by Creative Mesh here to go alongside Wobster's Proseed, and it is a beaut. This is a Lemken Solitaire, and just take a minute to look at the detail on this thing. I've noticed a couple of small little issues. For example, right now it is moving ever so slightly. I don't know why it's doing this, but it does want to drift to the left as we look at it. However, the detail on this thing is nuts. It's so impressive there. Such a very well made model there. Really do like it. I'm using manual attach there, and the hoses aren't quite working with manual attach, but the drill still works anyway, so that's not a problem. But it is very, very impressive indeed. We currently have in here, we've got fertilizer and we have our seed. We are going to be drilling in a little bit of wheat today. So that is already grown. We've done a few little bits to get ourselves going there. So let's have a look to see exactly what you guys need to do to get Proseed to work properly. So we're going to jump on into our tractor. Now, first thing you should do, or you want to do, is make sure you have your GPS set up properly. We've currently got our line already in. What I'm going to do to show you that is just bring up our lines here. So you can see we're already locked on and we're ready to go. If you're not sure how to do that, then you can check out this other video that we'll put a link to in the description about how to program in your GPS. Proseed can work without it. I prefer to use it with GPS there because it's more efficient there, and it's very pleasing to see it all work out. But you'll notice as we're in the drill here, and I'll bring up the menu, there's a lot more bits and pieces and information in this menu now, in the F1 control menu. And there's also a little HUD on the bottom right hand corner as well. If you're on PC and you want to access that HUD to change anything, you want to press your scroll button or your middle mouse button, and then it'll take away the F1 menu in the top left corner and allow you to change anything here. As a quick look at these things here, what you're going to see is this here is for your fertilizer application. If it's blue, it means that you are applying fertilizer as well. You'll be able to tell because you'll see a slightly darker colored area of ground that you've covered already than the land here. Now, this here is your drill width. So we've got a 6 meter drill on. That's great. Love that. Half side shut off over here. We don't need to worry about that too much right now. That's fine. And this shows you here all of the drill coulters that are working. If I press this button here, you'll see that it goes to red, which means that this side of the drill is not working, this side is, and then vice versa. But we don't need to worry about that right now. Over here, you have 3 different information pieces here. You got your mode. If you're using GPS here, this is going to be set to automatic. So it allows, the GPS talks to your Proseed. It lets you know where you are in the field and which path you are on. So it knows when to engage and disengage the tram lines. We'll cover that in a little bit more detail very shortly. You have semi-automatic, which works based off you lowering and raising down the drill. So for example, if I lift this up now, there you go, lift up my drill, you'll see we're now on track number 3. If I lower down the drill, it goes back down to track number 4, because every time you lower down the drill, it changes the track number, so it knows where you are. And the reason we talk about track numbers is very important. The distance we're currently set to is 24 meters. That is the width of our tram lines. We're at 24 meters because the sprayer we're going to use is a 24 meter drill. So if you have a 6 meter seed drill and a 24 meter sprayer, every 4 passes of your drill is the width of the sprayer, which means at some point in that time you need to get your tram lines set up to 24 meter spaces. Now, it gets a little bit tricky if you want to line it up perfectly with the border. You have to use half passes there to get it all married in, but that's not a problem. On this side of things though, when you're in the middle of the field and you're working along, you want to make sure that on the 3rd pass it puts down a headland, or puts down a tram line, sorry. So what we want to do is, I'm going to keep it, for the simplicity of this today, we're going to keep it on automatic. Immediately it goes back to pass number 2, which is fine. we're going to get drilling here. So first thing I need to do is turn on our drill. You'll see it's already skewed over a little bit. But we're going to turn on the drill there. Tractor revs up. Our GPS is engaged here. Now this is great to use with headland management. We haven't done that today just to keep it simple, but we could. And you'll see we are away. I'm going to close that down by pressing N as well. Look at the latches on that as well. Come on, you'll love to see it. And that drill is going through there nicely. You can also see as well as we drive along, both our seed level and our fertilizer level is depleting. So that means that we are applying fertilizer down there, which is great. And because we're using GPS, we don't need to come down the direct next path, nor do we need to use either of the ridge markers. You could do, of course, if you'd prefer. And we're going to keep the lines up just so we can see what this looks like. As we come to the end, we're going to disengage our GPS. We're going to lift up. We're going to miss one. And we're going to come down this one right here. And we'll put it down and away we go again. As you can see, we're now on pass number 4. And again, we're not putting the tram line down here. The tram line is going to go in this middle guy right here. And I'm going to show you what that looks like in just a minute. Everything else is as usual when you come to drilling in Farm Sim. You don't have to touch anything, you don't have to change anything. It's all nice and easy. In the HUD for the Proseed, you'll notice in the bottom right corner there's a speaker symbol. That's currently in blue, and what that means is it beeps at you when the drill's on, but you're not lowered and in drilling position. So if you accidentally raise up the drill, it will let you know you've done that. And I'm going to show you what that looks like. When we come down to our headland here, you'll notice as we lift up, you'll start to hear this slow, rhythmical beep. And that's just let me know, hey Sim, you've left your drill up there. If you didn't know about it, best lower that down. So we're going to come down to about here. You can just hear that very quiet but very subtle little beep there, and that's great. And then as soon as we lock onto our GPS and then lower down, the beep stops. And if you look at the HUD now, you'll see in the middle of the HUD there's the blue strips for all of the drill cultists, but there's 2 red spots. Those 2 red spots are where the tram lines are being put in there. So those drill cultists have been shut off. No seed has come through there, no fertilizer has come through there, and you've been left with your tram line, which works perfectly. And all you have to do right now then is continue through the rest of the field there. You'll complete all your headlands, and then you'll be all fully finished, and your tram lines will appear. No need to worry about where you're going to be spraying, and it's going to stay in place. If you use row crops moving forward there, you will not damage these any further. You will not flatten any more crop down, and you'll be set. Which, like I say, when we do start to see these crops growing and when it's nearly ready for harvest there, it looks just incredible. It really, really does. Now, the one thing to think about here is, of course, the width of the sprayer that you're going to be using. Ultimately, you will need to program this accordingly. So we're just going to stop right here. You can change your spreader width here. So you have 6 meters, which means the tram lines would be on continuously. You have 12 meters, 18 meters, 24, 30, 36, and 42, 48, 54, 60. Massive sprayers all the way up if you really wanted to 72. Good lord. Now with some of the sprayers in the game are actually 37 meters brilliantly, so you're gonna have to try and just accommodate the 36 meter. What that will mean though is with the sprayer you can toggle off the section control as well, so you might be able to make that work to your advantage. We're gonna just keep it to the 24 that we're gonna be using anyway though. And away we go. Fantastic. Now it's important to note as well, when you do start in the corner of your field or at the edge of one field, you want to make sure that your tram lines are going to be in the right place for the first pass. And what I mean by that, when you need to have your tram line in the middle of your tram line. So I'm going to stop here because it does get a little bit confusing. This here is the middle of your sprayer. So in theory, if you have a 24 meter sprayer, from here to over there is going to be, to the edge of the spray boom is going to be 12 meters. And from here to over there is going to be another 12 meters. So what you need to do is make sure by overlapping your drill passes at the very beginning, you can get from here to your field boundary in a 12 meter stretch. That means that your sprayer will be lined up nicely with the edge of the field and you're not missing out on anything at all. That's if you want to go into the real depth of it. Most people with Proseed just love to be able to have tram lines, to enjoy looking at the field there with tram lines in and be able to get that extra little bit of realism when drilling. And I can completely get behind that. We will do a couple more passes here, and then what we're going to do is just fast forward through the time. We've removed weeds because it just makes for a nicer, clearer shot when we're finished. We'll fast forward through and we'll show you what this looks like when it's all said and done. Alright, and folks, so we finished off this little piece here. We've skipped through till November as well, just to show you how we're looking in development there. As you can see, we have tramlines. We're just going to take a little bit of a flight here. Tramlines are coming through. Nice thick looking carpet of wheat here so far. We've got it's a little square, so it doesn't look quite as neat yet, but that will grow out there. But as you can see, we have a tramline in place already, so that is looking rather handy. Bull arrow straight there as well because of the GPS. Love that. I have my crop density and my textures just increased slightly there, so the crops look a little bit thicker. But I think that really adds to the effect. So we're going to skip right on through to harvest now. Obviously, we have no weeds in here. We have that disabled for this demonstration, so we don't really need to show you what that looks like. But we will go and get through the harvest and show you what it looks like as it's all finished up. Alright, so as you can see, we are now in July. This wheat is ready to harvest here. Lovely golden color as always. Curiously, it's interesting to see the difference between using GPS, where oddly one tramline is slightly wider than the other one, but we'll roll with that. Could just be the manner in which the drill's laid out. I'll have to try with a couple of the drills just to make sure. And also not using GPS. This is me freestyling in this here headland. And it doesn't look quite so neat, but it's in anyway. Moving up to here as well, you can see second tramline. I will have a play around to see if it's the same with other drills there, as to why one tramline is bigger than the other one. That to me is how it should look, so I'll have to see if that's just drill related. But anyway, tramlines are in Proseed this year, and it's looking, I'm very, very happy with it. It looks great from a distance whilst you're working in your fields there. Fantastic to see the tramlines working through, and also really satisfying to be able to drill and spray down them as well. We're going to leave this one here. If you do have any other questions about how to use Proseed, then please do let me know. Drop a comment down below. If you've enjoyed this video and it's been useful to you, please do give it a thumbs up. The drill here that has been gradually moving its way sideways is available to get off of the mod hub right now, as is Proseed for PC as well. So until next time, I hope you have enjoyed. Thank you very much for watching. I've been SFTN, and we'll see you all in the next one. Catch you later.